If it is given to me to save a life, all thanks. These words from the Hippocratic Oath suggest that saving a life should be an opportunity celebrated by every doctor. But what the oath doesn't capture is what doctors should do in the face of the option of paying the ultimate price for their patients. On the other hand, maybe most didn't envision that a day would come in our generation when medical personnel would also face the risk of both contracting and dying from a virus they were treating. Oh, we now know better. Medicine has shown us a new side that leaves us further in awe of the commitment of those entrusted with the sacred task of preserving lives amidst the global pandemic which started in Wuhan, China. Surely it must have seemed like business as usual in the medical centers across China's Wuhan city in early December 2019 when the coronavirus first struck. In just about a month, the hospitals were already overwhelmed. The virus was yet to be understood, so medical personnel were becoming patients themselves as fast as patients were being admitted. In 3 months, over 3,000 medical personnel in China alone were infected. It was like war, and doctors were racing to the front lines from all over the world to help manage the situation. Armed with their masks, suits, and the knowledge of their field, they took on this enemy threatening the entire human race. We saw medical personnel brace themselves up as commanders, leading the governments of the world, economists, and even world armies. But it was not long before the world realized that it was a battle we were losing and our commanders were falling. We were beginning to run an even bigger risk, losing those who knew how to fight. But this did not deter them. They had sworn an oath, one that bound their hearts to fight. Even as they fight without the right weapon against this virus, they continue to do all they can to preserve lives. As the Hippocratic Oath says again, I will prevent disease whenever I can, for prevention is preferable to cure. This is what doctors across the world are resorting to as a limited solution, but not without the price of casualties. They are the casualties, medical personnel in the front line who paid with their lives. We will never forget these men and women who fought and continue to fight this battle. We remember 34-year-old Li Wenliang, China's whistleblower doctor who first called the attention of the world to the coronavirus, but later died of the same virus, leaving behind a child and a pregnant wife. The story of 51-year-old Liu Ziming, the deputy secretary and dean of Wuhan Wuchang Hospital, will be told in Wuhan, China for years to come. Most heart-wrenching was the sight of his wife Chai Liping, a nurse, screaming and running after the ambulance as his body was moved out of the hospital. As we continue to consider the effect of the coronavirus in the medical field, the thought of the fate that has met these valiant doctors across the world sends a chill down my spine to think of what awaits our medical personnel in this side of the world. What would be the fate of doctors in this climate where necessary equipment is scarce, where the same doctors who preserve lives are left to suffer and forced to embark on a strike to demand what is due them in wages? I must say that the next few weeks and months that follow the coronavirus hitting Nigeria doesn't look its best for our medical personnel. Hospital staff will most likely be left underprotected, overworked and increasingly vulnerable, even as the frightened public and confused government look to them for a solution. The nation is not ready for the pandemic. This could sink us, were the words of a doctor earlier today. We all know that the Nigerian healthcare sector is ill-equipped to handle this. Hospitals have limited isolation rooms or even some basic safety gear like gloves and face masks. I cannot imagine how this would hit Nigerian medical personnel who represent the first responders and the frontliners in this battle. My God, it is a nightmare. We are scared. We are not protected enough, said another doctor. We are aware that the medical practice in Nigeria is in shambles and we have limited medical personnel to manage a large spread of the coronavirus. And on the other hand, pay packages are low. Actual payments of salaries is often irregular. In some states, government doctors' salaries are being paid on time monthly. The working condition is deplorable in most states, and working hours are long because of limited qualified personnel. the government hasn't still taken necessary measures to ensure our medical personnel are protected. So dear medical personnel, yes, the road ahead looks tough, and the work before you right now is one I do not covet. Still, I must say that I honor and respect you as a hero of our time. A hero wearing a mask and a protective gear, one who stands in front as a shield, fighting to protect the generation. I see you as a luminary that will be a reference point for generations to come. And though this may seem vague, I stand in solidarity with you. For as the popular saying by William Shakespeare goes, cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste death but once. As much as I do not wish death upon you, I encourage you to be valiant in these times, for it will be your name written in the sands of time. For those who live through this, may this battle be one you fought from conscience, not for gain, but for country, for humanity and God. Take necessary precautions, comrade. Fight to live as you fight to save.